Get your calendars out. February 17th, February 18th, live trading, San Diego. We got the Lowe's Coronado. I mean, what else would you want? This event is limited to 50 people. Look at your calendar, clear it, make sure you show up. If you want to be a rebel, this is the place to be. You got to sign up for it now. Giddy up, baby.
Hey folks, welcome. This is the final 3 at 3 of the week. And in fact, the final one that I'll be doing from Selbach, Austria, because we're flying home tomorrow. But let's get started with 3 at 3, because that's what you tuned in for, to get not just macro, but maybe some trades. And we've had a number of big winners this year already. Just had to say it. And I'm going to show you, you guys know what this show's about, unusual option activity, which means when somebody comes in and buys a whole bunch of calls, we try to ride that same wave that they created. Same thing with the puts. If they're buying puts, we think that's a bearish trade and that the stock is about to move lower. So let's get started with this one on Expiration Friday, January 2020. Marvell did this one on January 6th. So basically, 2 weeks ago. Well, Marvell has moved up from 35.92 to 39. So the trade working out pretty well so far. And we are starting to load some upside calls into it against the calls that we bought, which, as you know, I'm always buying an at the money call and selling upside calls against it as it rallies, or just taking profits, one or the other. I also cut losses because, remember, can't stay in this game very long if you can't take a loss and move on to the next trade. Speaking of which, how's that one? WB, they were buying 14,000 of the January 15 calls. Stock was $11, well, $12, let's call it. Now it's $22. That's a winner, folks. We're totally out of Weebio. Love to get right back into this thing, but it's been a heck of a run from 11.94 to 22.15. Bang. And on an expiration to get a 4.5% pop, that one feels pretty good. Lithium America, LAC, on the 4th of January, as you can see. Going into that final hour of trade, they were buying 13,999. Let's round it up to 14,000. That would be 1.4 million share equivalent that they could control of the February 22.50 strike calls. Well, the stock was 18.50 at the time, and now the stock is 20.86. These are February calls, so we still have time. But nonetheless, I am starting to sell calls against the calls that I bought, because the calls that I bought were at the money calls, and now they're in the money calls. And time decay is pretty rapid on a February option that's got just 1 month to live. And then Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. This one's way back on the 1st of December. But the stock was $11.65. They were buying the June, wow, 6 months out at that time, now only 5 months out into the future. But nonetheless, they're buying the 12.50 strike. Now, you know I'm going to buy the at the monies. But as you can see now, they're now $1.30 better because the stock has moved up by that much. It was $11.65. It is now $12.93. And yes, this is another one of those totally outperforming today because it's up 3.65% on a day when, yeah, the NASDAQ's up 2%, but the Dow is only up 0.5%. And the S&P is not catching up as fast as Warner Brothers Discovery either. Well, encourage you guys to join us next Tuesday, the 24th, for our earnings war room. That will be going on right at the market close, 4 p.m. Eastern time. You can register by going to marketrebellion.com / whoops, sorry about that. Moving through here. Let's see. Let's go back to that / register. That's marketrebellion.com / register. And you will be signed up. You will also get a recording of the complete episode. It'll occur right at the market close. So if that's not convenient for you, you'll get a copy of it later that day. All right, let's kick it off today soon. But let's see, there we were. We were at Warner Brothers Discovery. We did the War Room. Let's start with 3 stocks that we're trading today. As you can see on the far left of your screen, that is January 20th. That is today. MANU, they're buying 10,000 February 28 calls. Now, again, stock's 23.36. So that means I'd be buying something that's nearly $5 out of the money. Don't like doing that. I'm buying the at the money calls, and I will sell upside calls against it. As you can see, this was a bullish roll. They already rolled up from the Feb 24s because they went almost at the money right now. And they rolled up to the 28 calls, million share equivalent in that trade because 10,000 options, since every option is for 100 shares, million share equivalent. Market Rebellion San Diego, you know that we're running out of space, but we're going to keep telling you about it as long as we've got space. Marketrebellion.com / SD. That's marketrebellion.com / SD, like San Diego. 2 days of live trading. Check it out. Talk to one of our coaches or mentors about it. I think you'll want to attend, especially if you're in the West Coast where it's an easy drop down into San Diego. Marketrebellion.com / SD. All right. And this one is our next trade today. As you see, it occurred at 10:16 a.m. They were bearish put purchases. So the stock was trading at 25.82. They're buying puts that are more than $3 underneath where that stock is. So I'm buying at the money puts. My intention is if this one rolls over, I will sell short dated puts against it in February. And I'll do that 1-to-1. I always like to emphasize that I do that 1-to-1 because I don't want to put more risk on the table than I have to. And I don't think you should either. But again, I can't pull the trigger for you. You have to decide what's appropriate. So PSTG, that's PSTG, they're buying the February 22 puts with the stock at 25.82. Rebels Edge Live comes back Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Check it out, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Rebels Edge Live. We've got 6 trades for you, 4 from news and 2 from unusual activity every show. And that occurs at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you can join us, and we'll talk to you on Monday, Pete and I both. Lastly, NLY. This is Annalee. It's a mortgage company. They're buying the Feb 22 calls. Why would they be buying calls? Didn't we just hear that everybody waited on mortgages and that the mortgage industry was upside down? Yes, but that was before the interest rates collapsed down on the 10-year to a 3.4% recently. So maybe people are getting those mortgage apps in again. And if that's the case, you can expect that maybe NLY and some of the other mortgage companies that have been battered might see a pretty good bounce. So they're buying the Feb 22 calls. That's an in-the-money call because the right to buy it at 22, if it's trading at 22.60, is worth at least 60 cents. So we are buying these February 22 calls. Our intention is to sell higher strikes like the 23 calls, like the 25 calls, whatever it might be, against this one if it's working in that direction to the upside. And on the other, the contra to that, if it's losing money, we're going to cut that loss and move on to the next trade. I do it if the option I've purchased or the spread that I've established has lost 50% of its value. So, for instance, if you're buying these calls for $1.16, whereas you can see they were trading, well, That means if they drop to approximately 65 cents or so, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out 60, 65 cents. I'm going to be out, and I'll save my capital for another trade. Got to be disciplined on taking profits and cutting losses. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Appreciate you joining us. Pete and I are going to enjoy the weekend. I hope you do too. Some great playoff games coming up. Till Monday, bang. Have a great day.